Good morning, everyone. It's April 10th, 2019. I'm Eric. So, people wearing MAGA hats. They've been, I'm not sure I would use the word victimized, but they've been attacked quite a bit since and before the election of Donald Trump. And I wondered why they weren't defending themselves. I wondered why they were being, cuckish about it, weak. I mean, we've seen example after example of these people being attacked, right? Well, recently, an individual wearing a MAGA hat in San Francisco did just that. And I forecasted a few months ago, it could have been as many as 9, that eventually these right-wingers would end up retaliating, right? And that, as a result of this retaliation, it would begin a tit-for-tat back and forth of violence, which would end up exploding into a civil war. And I still believe that this could happen. And Chicago has exploded into violence here because of the warm weather. 24 people were shot in 24 hours there in Chicago. And I'm going to tie this together. Now that the warmer weather is here, we're going to begin seeing more demonstrations, protests, rallies, these kinds of things. And in my opinion, it will be at one of these rallies that the violence ends up exploding and the ball gets rolling on the Civil War. They wanted to make it a race war, but could not because too many black folks saw through what they were trying to do. I think the Jesse Smollett thing was that eye-opening moment for many of the black Americans here in this country, including famous ones. So maybe Jesse Smollett trying to pull that shit was not such a bad thing. So let's get started on the first one I mentioned here, and it is on Zero Hedge. And it comes from Tyler Durden. Following a spat of violence and harassment directed towards Trump supporters wearing MAGA hats, one man retaliated with a samurai sword. "30-year-old Leor Berglund of San Francisco was arrested last Wednesday in connection with a March 29th incident in which an assailant who knocked his Make America Great Again hat off was slashed with a sword at around 10 p.m., according to NBC News. Berglund has a criminal record and lives in a San Francisco supportive housing complex for formerly homeless people. The slashing victim and a witness chased the attacker only to back off after the sword-wielding man turned and began advancing toward them, according to police. Berglund and a 27-year-old resident of Berkeley, California, encountered each other outside of the popular Church of Eight Wills, a roller skating rink inside an old church in San Francisco's Fillmore district. Berglund drew a sword and slashed the victim's hand after the victim knocked Berglund's hat bearing President Donald Trump's campaign slogan to the ground. The victim and another man briefly pursued Berglund, but stopped after Berglund turned on them and brandished the sword. Berglund's bail is set at $1 million, according to jail records. The slashing victim was treated at a local hospital and released. Okay. And he has a criminal record of petty type shit, like illegal entry. Yeah, let's go down here and look at it again. Unlawful entry to a motor vehicle and theft, criminal mischief. These things in most places are misdemeanors or serious misdemeanors. Now, this is just the first one I've heard about, and there may be more out there. But my point is that these people wearing the MAGA hats, the people on the right, they are brainwashed to the point where even if they're wrong, and the same goes for the other side, okay? I'm not just picking on MAGA hat people. In fact, the other side is brainwashed to a much greater extent than those people wearing the MAGA hats. But nonetheless, they are brainwashed, and they're only going to take so much. As I said back when I made my forecast, that I kind of expected it to happen sooner than this. I mean, it has taken, nearly 3 years, if not more, for them to begin retaliating. And as far as I know, this is one of the first instances. Now, there has been fights at rallies, but this is not what I'm talking about. And because of the warmer weather, we can expect to see more of this violence across the country. I think the bail was very much excessive as well. I mean, $1 million. Anyway, I think we're going to see, well, I don't think, I'm pretty sure we're going to see these instances of violence upticking now that people are going to be outside more and more comfortable as a result of our winter going away. And it could end up being that thing, that event that gets everything spiraling out of control. And when I say out of control, I mean the so-called authorities at that point will not be able to stop it. At least not without drastic measures. Now, in Chicago, warm weather sparks out of control Chicago shooting spree. 24 people were shot in 24 hours between April 6th and 7th, and this included 3 adults and 3 children who died from gunshot-related injuries, according to the Chicago Police Department. The mayhem started early Sunday morning and continued into the afternoon hours on Sunday. Police and common sense both allege that warmer weather was responsible for the surge in violent crime. Now, that's kind of stupid to say. And warmer weather cannot possibly be responsible. It just made the conditions favorable for it to happen. During the weekend horror, Chicago police investigated multiple homicides and a mass shooting of 6 people in West Englewood. 3 people were shot in East Garfield Park at 3:30 a.m. Sunday. A 34-year-old was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg. A 26-year-old was taken to Norwegian American Hospital with a gunshot wound to his foot. And a 33-year-old was taken to Rush University Medical Center after he was shot in the arm. But this is, even though it's a lot of shootings, it's still less than last year. In Chicago, 481 people have been shot so far this year, and that is 89 fewer people than last year. And when shootings occur, they want to blame the inanimate object that without human operating that object, a gun, it can do nothing. You know, Ozzy Osbourne, as much as people like to bash him for being a so-called Satanist, he said something that was pretty smart. I mean, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember the quote word for word, but something to the effect that if guns kill people, how come we don't just send them to war and let the people stay home? Yeah. So, with our warmer weather comes shootings, protests, rallies, and these things are the things that lead to mass violence. This is why you should have a firearm, at least one. I recommend having a handgun, shotgun, and a rifle. I recommend having a fixed blade knife with a sheath that you can wear on your belt. I also recommend having a larger bladed weapon such as a machete or a samurai sword. And lastly, I recommend having a projectile weapon that does not require gunpowder, such as a crossbow and a compound bow, to add to your loadout there. Other things to consider: body armor. You want a armor plate that is rated to stop at least a 7.62 by 39 round. You want a gas mask. At least one gas mask. And lastly, I think for the sake of being prepared, maybe food and a life straw throw in your bag, because you never know if you're going to end up getting pinned down somewhere and having to wait it out. Anyway, I thought I'd share these with you. I have a couple more I'm going to go over. Different video though. I hope everyone has a great day. Remember, if you agree or if you watch on a regular basis, maybe you could give me a thumbs up, a share, and my PayPal link's in the description box below. And by the way, I also need to say that I did a video yesterday called Current Events AZ Reps Take on AZ Reps Take on Child Trafficking and 8-year-olds Given Cross-Sex Hormones. I got a comment saying that the comment section was closed. It couldn't make comments. And I looked to see if it was my settings. It was not. I leave my comment section open. I've never blocked people from commenting. And it turns out that it looks like YouTube went ahead and took it upon themselves to block the comments for that video. I don't know why, and I've said many times before that I will end up getting banned from YouTube. And I have another channel on BitChute. That link is below as well. If you watch me on a regular basis, probably want to subscribe to that channel, because I put things there I can't put here. Till next time, kill the state, live free.